they had Sean Penn on, and Sean Hannity made this feel like it was some great meeting of the minds. Like, oh, Sean Penn is on the show, and Sean, we usually would disagree on 90% of topics, but Ukraine is so important that we're here together, brothers in arms. And I'm looking at this,
what was happening.
I'm like, are y'all serious right now?
Firsthand, take a look.
I make the first phone call to you. I don't know if you remember. And I said, I'm interested in the work that you do.
What is this nonsense, Fox News? What is this?
And why you were there even before the war started, and this documentary you're doing. Do you remember what you first said to me?
I do.
What'd you say?
I said that I don't trust you.
That makes all three of us, because I don't trust you, and I don't trust and none of y'all. Even Tucker, who I like. I trust nobody right now. Just too many games out here. And not to say I don't like Tucker. Tucker's great. Charlie Kirk's great. I trust nobody right now. No one.
Is there a reason you didn't trust me?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I don't trust
you. So they
you.
started the interview with that, and the reason I bring that up is to they wanted to make it more powerful. Like, we normally don't sit together. So I'm like, okay, so which I'm perfectly fine with, to get people together that you normally don't agree with. So what type of business for the people have you gotten together? You guys are both obviously rich and have a big platform. So Sean Penn gets together with Sean Hannity, and it's like, okay, I would be all for it. What's the topic that you have for common people during this crazy time? What did you bring him on there for? What are we talking about? What's the purpose?
In those early hours, I know that Trump gave them javelins. I know that they had some defenses. But if you go back to the Budapest Agreement, they were at the time the third largest nuclear power in the world. And
Does this sound like a conversation for common people who just trying to live their lives and try to figure out, like, what does the Ukraine and Russia war mean to me? And he's talking about, right here, he's going to talk about how Ukraine shouldn't have given up their nukes. Give a damn. That's something for the Ukraine people to worry about.
And they made an agreement that they'd give those weapons to Russia to be destroyed in exchange for protection from Russia, Great Britain, and the U.S. Lesson to be learned here: don't give up your nuclear weapons.
So this is what they get together to talk about. This is obviously not a conversation to empower common people. It's to uncommon the military-industrial complex and all of this global interest from China to Russia to the U.S. in Ukraine. This has nothing to do with common people. Lesson to learn: don't give up your nukes. What the hell does that got to do with me? And our country, the betterment of our country, the safety of our country. What is this discussion about?
Weapons, if you have them, because you can't believe people like Vladimir Putin.
Well, even countries that have nuclear weapons can remain intimidated to use them, and we're seeing that now with our own country. And
what the man, y'all, Jesus Christ. This is from the 6th. It's just all coming to a head. I've seen this like from last week, and Adam, did you hear what he just said on Fox News? Unquestioned, unchecked, in fact, even agreed with. What is going on? What are we doing? Is nobody going to say something? Like, this is complete garbage. He said even countries that have nuclear weapons can remain intimidated. Oh my goodness. To not
because
use
you
them.
Can't believe people like Vladimir Putin.
Well, even countries that have nuclear weapons can remain intimidated to use them, and we're seeing that now with our.
What he's saying is, this is my interpretation, is that he's saying we're seeing that with our own country, the U.S., that we're afraid to use nuclear weapons. That's my interpretation of this. Am I wrong here? Like, did this happen on national TV and like nobody really talked about it? Did this really happen?
Putin.
Well, even countries that have nuclear weapons can remain intimidated to use them, and we're seeing that now with our own country. And I fear what that legacy is going to be. We don't want.
He's saying that he fears the legacy of the United States if we don't use nukes. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the Truman Show, man. This can't be real. This didn't happen. That's not possible. I mean, this is that didn't really happen, did it? Maybe he means peace, right? Maybe he means, I don't know. Maybe I think it has to be. It can't be what it is.
Don't give up your nuclear weapons if you have them, because you can't believe.
Sean Hannity says the lesson to learn is don't give up your nuclear weapons. Yeah, I think that's right as far as the country goes. What the hell has that got to do with us?
People like Vladimir Putin.
Why does Sean Penn's face look like that? There's a YouTube channel, I forget the guy's name, that does body language analysis. And it doesn't tell you things factually, but it's just demeanor. Like, what is he? His demeanor bothers me. Like, look at Sean Penn's face. Is this big enough? What's with his face? Is he drunk or? I mean, I'm just speculating, allegedly. I mean, seriously, I'm not even trying to be funny. It looks like he just did a line like right before the interview. And I don't know him. Maybe he's like drug free and all that. I'm seriously, I don't understand the demeanor. Because it's like he already knows where this is going. So if you sit down with people, and I'll give Tim Pool a lot of credit. He's in Nashville with his van. He does interviews in person. And I have to do them virtually, but to do them in person means so much, because you don't really get this as well if it's over video. So there's a moment when someone's going down a path and you already know like the answer to the question. And I think that's what's happening here. He's like, okay, I know I want to talk about us using nukes. Is he with the CIA? How does he come to this position? And you can look at his face. Like, is that somebody you trust? Fox News put this dude on TV. I mean, I have no problem. My other day, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to talk?" I will talk with anybody. I'll talk with Yahtzee. I'll talk with Zelensky. I don't care, but I will say whatever I want to say, though, and I'll be respectful. I don't look to have discussions to have heated debates. So if I were in this interview, I would have to ask Sean Penn, like, you look bothered. Like, are you okay, bro? Like, no, seriously. Like, what's going on emotionally in your head right now? And you think it's okay to have nuclear warfare? Is that what you're calling for?
Britain and the U.S. Lesson to be learned here: don't give up your nuclear weapons if you have them, because you can't believe people like Vladimir Putin.
Well, even countries that have nuclear weapons can remain intimidated to use them. And we're seeing that now with our own country. And I fear what that legacy is going to be. No one wants to see a nuclear conflict.
I don't want to see one. Nobody does.
At the same time, if only one bully is going to be able to use those weapons as a threat, we got to rethink what we're doing.
In those early hours.
Oh my God. I can't believe that moment. I can't believe that moment actually happened. I really can't. I cannot believe that moment actually happened. There have been so many moments that have happened. I never really fully covered this moment. I'm getting sick of them trying to get us into a war.